Caught by tears. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the post-match of West Ham versus Everton. West Ham 0, Everton 1. Now that was a really solid result for Everton. We really needed that result. West Ham, as we all know right now, they're really punching above their weight when it comes to a lot of the teams. Anyone who is below them, 9 times out of 10, they're getting the result out of them. Everton, we really changed that today. So we went into that game and we played like the 2007-2008 David Moyes team. Solid lineup. We did not let them have much of a look in when it came to them attacking. We defended absolutely phenomenally. We had, not only did we have our solid back three, we also had our wing backs playing in the defensive mindset, and our 2 defensive midfielders in the likes of Alan and Tom Davies also really chipping in well. Right. Now, why can't we play like this more often? Granted, what we want is more flashy football, but we are not going to get it from these players. I swear to God, we are never going to get it from these sorts of players. These are your workhorse players that we have in the squad right now. Apart from, say, the likes of James Rodriguez, Richarlison, and maybe Sigurdsson, kind of. Them sort of players, they're more of a creative mindset. Whereas a lot of the others, the likes of Ben Godfrey, Alan, Seamus Coleman, he's your workhorse to the nth degree. That dude has absolutely ran his little legs off today. And I would applaud him if I could physically meet him. I would shake his hand for that performance today because he was absolutely brilliant. I could not fault him. But yeah, in regards to the squad as a whole, we played like the 07-08 David Moyes Everton, where it was a team that were out there to get the result regardless of how they got it. Whether it be a 1-0 scrappy, a 2-1 scrappy, or a 1-0 easy coast. I mean, today we got the 1-0 scrappy. I say that, but in all honesty, West Ham, they had a couple of opportunities, but they just could not get that result from it. There was one instance where one of them had a good shot on goal. It hit off the post, and one of the attackers absolutely fluffed it up and basically passed it to our Pickford. Speaking of which, I've never seen him have such little to do in a game. He was quite literally, all he was there for was to pick up any loose balls and distribute goal kicks. He only had to do one reasonably serious save, and even then that was not much of a threat to him. So that I've got to say, the defence did absolutely brilliant for him today. Yerry Mina was solid, Michael Keane was solid, Ben Godfrey was absolutely solid as a rock. Luca Dean, he was right there. He was getting into the mixer. He was at both ends of the pitch what we want from him, being able to be like the Leighton Baines that we had, where he was back in our box when he needs to be, and he was up in their box when he needs to be. He was the distribution from every single one of the guys in that back line was brilliant. I've been seeing a lot of people giving Tom Davies flack, but in all honesty, I do not know where you're getting this from. He played really well today. I could not fault him to any point. There was one little bit where he was trying to take on their entire midfield, and it did look a bit weird, him doing that, but I'm not going to fault him for that. He was trying to do what a midfielder does, where they're meant to get it up the damn field and get it to an attacker. He was trying to do that, and he just held onto the ball for a little bit too long. Speaking of which, I'm not going to fault Richarlison today. He did play well, but he needs to be able to release that ball a little bit sooner. When he's getting the ball, he's trying to bring it as far as he can to pass it on. But in all honesty, he doesn't really need to be doing that. If he gets the ball, if he can move it 5 to 10 yards and then pass on, cross, or whatever he's doing with it, that's great. That's all we need from you, mate, if you're going to be doing that. You don't need to get yourself right to the byline, then back into the box for a pass. That's just not necessary. You're just going to end up getting surrounded by players, and you're going to get your legs taken from you. Now, for Calvert-Lewin. In regards to Calvert-Lewin, I would say today he absolutely ran his bloody little legs. I want to say little legs, but the dude's bloody taller than me. I think he's knocking about 6'1", 6'2". But he absolutely ran his legs off today, and I commend him for that. Granted, he is a striker, so he should be up near that final third. But in all fairness, what he was doing was great. He was able to get the ball, and he was able to do some form of distribution. In regards to his goal, Ben Godfrey put through an absolute peach of a pass, got it right through the line. Calvert-Lewin was able to get around it and knock it in. It was perfect. It was what we want him to do. He's meant to be able to be there to pick up the scraps and get them in the back of the net. So what we did, we played for Dominic Calvert-Lewin in that regard, and as we could see, it gave us a result from it. And in regards to Alan, Alan. You played perfectly, mate. You absolutely played perfectly that game. You were getting the tackles where they needed to be. You were getting the passes where they needed to be. You were able to bring it to the width. You were able to bring it forwards. And you were able to get back and bring it forwards as well. You were quite literally our sixth defender and our main midfielder. You did absolutely brilliantly, and you deserved the man of the match for that. In all honesty, if I could give man of the match to multiple people, I would be giving it to Godfrey. I'd be giving it to Digne. I would be giving it to Alan. I would be giving it to all three of them. You guys were all solid today, and I could not commend you anymore. You were the closest thing to perfection in that game today. And in the likes of Seamus Golden, like I said, he was very, very well done today. He was up and down that pitch. He was doing everything he could. And at 32 years old, that is absolutely brilliant. I could not commend you enough for your absolutely tireless work. If the guys could do this for the rest of the season, and granted we've got, I think it's 4 or 5 games till the end of the season, and I think we've got to get them done in about 3 weeks. The poor guys would be tired. They would be absolutely exhausted. But I would love to see them be able to do this and then enjoy the rest off that they get. Now, time for the substitutes. I don't know what to say. Most of these substitutes came on fairly late. Pardon me. Mason Holgate, he came on for Yerry Mina. Yerry Mina seemed to have a little bit of a strain in his leg. I couldn't tell where. I'm assuming the thigh, because he was gripping his thigh when he was walking off. I was worried about that, in all honesty, when I saw him coming off and Holgate coming on, because the performance he put in last week against Aston Villa, I did not want to see that again. I did not want to see him shouting himself over the ball, losing his marbles. He almost looked like he lost his marbles when he was doing it. So he was sort of just looking around trying to find someone and ran out of time, and he had the ball nicked from him. He didn't do any of that today. Granted, he was only on for about 10-20 minutes, but the time he was on, he was playing like an out-and-out defender and able to get basically any balls that he got and he got it out. He got it out the way, and that's what we want from him, and it was a good job from him. I will give him a thumbs up for that. Fabian Delph, well, I would say Fabian Delph, he was there to sort of, back it up and fill in the gaps a bit. He came on for Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson actually looked a little disappointed to be taken off at that point in time, but, we've got to rest players when we can. And the longer you get out there, the higher the risk that you're going to get injured, but that's football's a risk. Fabian Delph, he did his job. He was the creative aspect in the midfield. He played just as the central midfield. He never really went too far up. He wasn't too far back. He was just in the middle of the ground there. And he did a good job there. I commend him for that. Now, Josh King. Josh, mate. He was on for 1 minute and almost scored from a header. It was unfortunate that he didn't get it in. I would have been absolutely delighted if he would have got it in. But that's about it for the highlights of him. After that, he just looked lazy. I mean, Seamus Coleman had been running his legs left, right and centre all that game. And he looked like he still had more energy than Josh King. Josh King almost looked disinterested after all is said and done. Come the 90-minute mark, I was watching Josh King and he was just idly sort of jogging around. There was no urgency from him. There was no rush. It almost looked like he just couldn't be arsed. It looked like he came off of bloody night bend and he was hungover. But, not said and done. The game was won. We've got the crucial 3 points. And now we're going to have to look to the next game. It's Aston Villa, so we're going to get to have our grudge match against them now. And it is at Villa Park. Now, Decore is back. He didn't feature in this game, which was a shame. I would have loved to have seen him come back into this game. It would have brought some serious pace back into it, but hey-ho, we still got the result. I'm hoping that Decore starts. Aston Villa for the next game, I would probably actually keep a very similar lineup to what I've actually put out. So, typical thing where it was 3-5-2. So 3 central defenders. You have 5 midfielders, 1 left wing back, 1 right wing back, 2 playing as defensive-ish midfielders, 1 attacking midfielder in the form of creativity, and then our 2 strikers. God damn it, I keep burping. It doesn't help, I have carbonated drinks all the time. But I feel Yerry Mina may potentially be out for this next game. We may have to rest him till our game against Sheffield United. So, I think Holgate will probably feature in that regard, but I'm not 100% happy with it. Well, actually, no, I'm more than willing to give him another chance. I just want him to play as a defender. None of this creative bullshittery. Just if he gets the ball, lob it upfield or distribute it. None of this trying to turn a striker, you know, doing these little turns here, there and everywhere, trying to do cuts. It's not necessary for a defender. Play the simple rule and you won't go wrong. But yeah, I figured, why not do some play ratings as well while we're at it? I would give Pickford a 7 out of 10. He didn't have much to do, so we can't really commend or punish him for anything. So I would say a nice easy 7. He made 1 critical save, which was not exactly a critical save, it was more just a standard. Ball hit the post, attacker screwed up, and he was able to just pick the nice soft ball up. We'll go from left to right, just so you know. Luca Dean, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, easily. I was even, actually no, 8.5 out of 10. He was up and down that pitch, doing what he needs to do. He was in both boxes when he needs to be. He was making critical tackles. He was able to stop attackers from making anything. I mean, hell, Lingard was completely out of that game. Antonio as well. I'll talk about that in a second. Godfrey, I would give 8.5 as well. Again, solid performance. Brilliant pass to Dominic Calvert-Lewin to equal, you know, to... Sorry, let me try that again. Words are my enemy at the moment. I'm sorry. So, Godfrey, I would give him an 8.5 out of 10. He made an absolutely critical pass that was through to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who was able to score a goal from it. That was brilliant. He was able to cut out any attacking play, like Luca Dean. So, he deserves the 8.5 out of 10. Yerry Mina, I would give an 8 out of 10. He really did everything he could to keep Antonio out of that game. Anytime Antonio was by that ball, Mina was right behind him and snapping at him to get that ball from him. There was situations where Mina was able to even body block Antonio. So anytime Antonio was trying to get into space, Mina was standing in the way, wasn't doing anything to foul him or anything. He just got in his way, in like a almost like when you got the delinquent who stands in the way when you're walking somewhere and you just bump into him. He was doing that to a fine art, and I highly commend him. It was brilliant to watch. All right, Michael Keane, I would give a 7.5 out of 10. In all honesty, watching him play, he played well. He didn't have an awful lot to do, but when he was on the ball, he looked solid, and I was happy seeing him play well in the back 3. Seamus Coleman, 8.5 out of 10. Up and down the pitch like an absolute madman. He was making brilliant passes. He was intercepting brilliantly, and it really saddened me to see him get tackled so much and fouled so much. For what he does and how old he is, seeing that sort of stuff, I'm always worried that he's going to be injured. But as a whole, he played brilliantly today and I couldn't fault him, so 8.5 out of 10. Alright, now we're going to go into the heart of the midfield. Alan, 8.5 out of 10. Again, absolutely solid play. He was able to stop any attacks on the tracks. I'm a poet, I didn't even know it. Stop any attacks when they were happening. He was brilliant in defence. He was able to distribute and get the ball out into our creative aspect and get it wide. And as a whole, he was there. Any open shot or anything that was coming around, he was there for. So I would give him an 8.5 out of 10. Tom Davies, I would give a 7.5 out of 10. Similar to Michael Keane and Jordan Pickford, didn't have an awful lot to do. I mean, on the pitch, I just figured he was there for distribution more than anything. need to stop that. I really need to stop that. But as a whole, he did well. He did have a little bit of a hiccup near the end where he was trying to take on too many midfielders and got dispossessed, but that's the way of the game. He's still young, he's still learning, so I'm going to give him that. He played really well, so 7.5 out of 10. Sigurdsson, I would give 7 out of 10. Wasn't amazing, was not amazing by any means, but he was there. He has a really close opportunity when it came to the free kick, and it was an absolutely peach of a free kick. Lucas Fabianski was really did well to get his hands on that. But as a whole, I felt he was quite average, but he did play well as a whole. As a solid unit, Everton, I would give them an absolute 9.5 out of 10 for just their overall performance. Okay, so we would now go to Richarlison. I'm going to give him, I'm not going to enjoy saying this, but a 7 out of 10. Again, at the beginning he was a little bit slow, but as the game progressed, he really built up. He really built up his momentum. He was getting the balls and he was getting them into crucial areas, but he was just not able to release quick enough. As I said before, I feel like he needs to be able to release that ball a lot quicker before he's overrun by defenders, because once he's overrun by the opposition and the defence, he's just not able to get out of that. So for that, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Calvert-Lewin, I would give a 8 out of 10, just for the fact that he scored a really good goal. He had a few opportunities and a couple of headers that went right, and my Facebook notification went off. Let's see who was that. Mick Butchard. How's it going, buddy? You beat me while I'm recording. How dare you? But yeah, I would give him an 8 out of 10 for his role in the game. He was able to see opportunities really well, and he did everything he could to take them. The goal he scored was brilliant. I'm really happy to see him score with his feet more often. And hell, the bloody height he's getting with them jumps is something else. He's able to actually clear defences. If anyone has the connection power, I would love to see him go in a jumping contest against a basketball player, because the height that he gets, I think he could, if he had good ball control with his hands, I would love to see him play in a basketball game, because the height that he gets with his head is the heights he gets. I would love to see him. He would do a really good slam dunk. Now for the substitutes, Holgate, I would give a 6 out of 10. Wasn't really on long enough to really give too much of an impact, but did his job well. Fabian Delph, I'll be the same. It would get a 6 out of 10. Wasn't on long enough to really make too much of an impact, but he was there and he was getting, he wasn't able to hinder us. Josh King, 5 out of 10. Well, sorry, no, that's really harsh. 5.5 out of 10. He had a good opportunity when he first came on. Had a header at the goal, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get it in. But afterwards, from there, I felt like he just lost interest in the game very, very quickly. He must have thought that the game was pretty much to bed and he didn't have to do tap. But in all fairness, that's not an attitude you want at the club. You need someone who's going to be wanting to run ragged from the second they take a step on that pitch to the final whistle. Looking at Dominic Calvert-Lewin when the final whistle had come, the first thing he did was laying down. He was out of breath. The poor guy was absolutely exhausted. And that's what I want to see from players when they've played a game. They need to be coming off that pitch absolutely knackered. They should not be coming off that pitch looking like they're about ready to start another game in about 10 minutes. But yeah, that's my rant and my praises for Everton. Well done, guys. It was a great result. And there was also a really good result for Man United. They won 3-1 against Leeds, so that keeps them off our backs. So we need to be going into the next game now against Aston Villa with a very similar mindset. We need to be cutting out any of their attacks. If we can play similar to what we played in the West Ham game, I would be delighted to see a result with that sort of performance. If we get a draw from it, that would be disappointing, but I think playing like that, it's gritty, it's not attractive football, but it's stuff that gets the job done. And if we can get this for the end of the season, just doing that sort of football, I would not complain at all. It would be cheeky for me to even think about complaining if we're getting the results like that. But yeah, that's the tangent over for today, guys. As I said, brilliant result from Everton. Well done, guys. And as you can see, good old big dunk there, taking a lovely old selfie. He's probably going to say, have a little chat with his old mate. Hopefully he's getting on with his photography in school. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like button. Leave a like. If you want to suggest anything to me, whether it be talking about Everton players of the past, present, or potential future, put it in the comment section below. I would always love to hear from you guys. Whether you want me to improve something, to say, I don't know, try and burp less. Seriously, I need to stop with the carbonated drinks because I can't stop burping. I can't stop yawning now. This is a really bad habit of mine. I burp and yawn too often. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But yeah, and if you're new to the channel, please, why not hit that subscribe button? It's always great to see new people coming to the channel. We've done really well so far. We're at 180 subscribers. Granted, a few of them are from before the channel started, when this used to be other channels. I've done vlogging, I've done all sorts. But yeah, when we get to 1,000, I'll show you the vlog video. Prepare yourself, it is some cringy crap, I promise you. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. And up the fucking toffees.